Bruce Smith. This is the Essential Discourse podcast, NightCap. This is our first live stream under this banner, this marquee, the Essential Discourse podcast, NightCap. How you guys doing tonight? We're so glad you're here. So glad you're here. And we want to know where you guys coming from. Where are you guys watching from? That is a great question that we'll hope that you get into the comments and answer so we can shout you out. Say hello to you and yours, and so we can kind of get to know each other. Hello, Miss Regina Smith. How are you? Thank you for being here, young lady. I really appreciate it. Just waiting to give some additional people time to get on. Texas is in the house. All right, good stuff. And ma'am, can you hear the audio well? A good little thumbs up would be great. If the audio as well and the video as well as too, thumbs up would be great. Just want to make sure that we don't have any of the technical difficulties that we had yesterday. I think that everything is A-okay on my end. Just trying to see if it's okay on you guys' end as well. All right. Thank you, Miss Smith. I really appreciate that. So last night we got on, and it was like a test run. We wanted to see how well we had everything configured, if everything was configured properly. And turns out that it was configured pretty well. We had a nice turnout last night as we were just making sure that we were ready to go for today. So if you read the description of this first initial NightCap, I wrote that it would serve 4 purposes. One, to kind of introduce myself and Essential Discourse podcast to you. Perhaps you're here for the first time and you're here just out of curiosity. What is Essential Discourse podcast? What is this thing? It sounds like $1 million handle for a podcast. Well, essential, needed, discourse, conversation. That's basically it. Needed conversation, not a conversation that's going to whet your appetite for foolishness or whet your appetite for gossip or, that type of stuff. But this is essential conversation for healthy living, spiritual well-being, mental well-being, and becoming a better version of ourselves each day. So hopefully that is something that you are interested in. Hopefully that is something that you feel that there is a need for across all social media platforms. There's so much negativity out there. There's so much, let's just call it what it is. There's so much trash out here on social media. People get on this thing. I made a post the other day. People get on this thing and just lie. About stuff that nobody asked them to lie about. And will have you believe in that lie because you failed to do, or I failed to do, any type of research to validate the source of that information. So, again, this is the Essential Discourse podcast, NightCap. And I just explained to you what essential discourse actually means. This is not perhaps what you want to hear, but I believe in my heart of hearts that this is absolutely what we need to hear. And with that being said, what is it? My first question, what is it that draws our attention to much of the trash that's being provided, and what prevents us from seeking out sources of information that have a place in the dynamics of making us or helping us to become better versions of ourselves. And I like to answer that question before anybody else chimes in. I think it's somewhat escapism, if I'm being honest. A lot of us get on, well, I don't know about us, but at one point in time, I was getting on social media as a means of escape from the reality, which is my life. Going through some tough times, you know, working a job that I really didn't like, uh, bad situations with relationships, and you don't want to deal with that stuff. And we go to social media originally for a good laugh. Well, a good laugh turns into, entertaining, gossip and worrying about what a celebrity said and what a celebrity is doing. And then we start making judgments on folk we've never met, we don't know, who don't know us, who don't care about us, who have no desire to even meet us or speak to us. And we find ourselves, or I found myself, arguing with people who were wrong to begin with, and I knew that they were wrong to begin with, but like a fool, I was out there arguing with them. So that's for me. What about you? What about you? Do you feel that your time on social media sometimes is not being spent wisely, not being spent finding sources of encouragement, enlightenment, upliftment, things of that nature? And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with a good, funny skit. Nothing whatsoever. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with, catching the highlights or listening to somebody's opinion about, an athlete doing this or doing that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. However, if you don't balance that, you'll find yourself in an unhealthy place mentally and spiritually. Case in point. Case in point. This DEI stuff that's going on right now. All this talk about DEI. All this talk about, they're doing this, they're doing that. There's a lot of misguided, misled, misinformed people making comments about this and, trying to make this a racial thing when it is absolutely not. It is absolutely not. And I'm not gonna get into the research and all that stuff on that, but it has overwhelmingly taken over social media. And I think that you all would agree if I had a poll and said, what's the thing that you've been hearing on social media the most? I do believe that most of you, many of you, will say, "Oh yeah, it's DEI. It's the current presidential administration. It's all this stuff," and you can find yourself listening to that stuff so much, and from people who just don't understand the ins and outs of it, and don't even have a general understanding of what DEI is, and it can have you feeling some type of way emotionally. It can have you looking at folks strange, So you have to educate yourself. And I'll be honest with you, I never thought about DEI, never thought about it until this administration got into office. And I started hearing them talking about DEI hires and DEI this and DEI that. And you know what? It took me back to when BLM was a thing, and it's still a thing. That got hijacked, and it became code for ninja. It became code for ninja or ninja people. And it ain't the first time that that's happened. They did the same thing with CTR, CRT, critical race theory. That became code. It got hijacked. And that became code for ninja. And they did the same thing with woke. You understand what I'm saying? That got hijacked, and that became code for ninja. And before that, it was thug, and so on and so on and so forth. And we have to, excuse me, we have to be mindful of who is saying these things and what the actual intent is behind what they're saying. Now, I know, thanks to some great creators, some guys who are out here educating me and others, I know that the people who are being targeted as the face of DEI, oh, I'm sorry, yeah, DEI, they're not the ones who, or we're not the ones who have benefited the most from this. Again, as I stated earlier, I never thought about DEI until it was just being dragged and broadcast all over the news. But the truth of the matter is, there's a greater scheme going on behind closed doors when you dig under the surface. So, and like I said, I'm not going to get into all that on here. I'm just using it as an illustration as to how, if you're not careful, social media can just warp your perspective on what's going on. It'll keep you unfocused. It makes you unfocused, and it causes you to miss the mark as far as being accountable and being responsible for the things that you consume, which can affect how you think. So, with that being said, I'm gonna propose the question again, because I see we got some more people on. Social media. How does your consumption of social media affect your mental well-being and your spiritual well-being? And how is it that the stuff that is trash, for lack of a better word, it's not factual, it doesn't uplift, it doesn't uplift you, it doesn't edify you. How is that stuff the stuff that goes viral? But when you got people talking about accountability and responsibility, how does that get hardly any views? I'm interested to see your thoughts on that. Ms. Smith said, I believe social media of any kind is a form of entertainment. I believe that there has to be a balance. I didn't read it fast enough, so let me bring it back up. I often say your life passes you by looking at other lives. That is a very interesting and a very profound thought. Let's see what some others are saying. Trey Williams. Social media can be a distraction, but it can be informative. Research for yourself. I absolutely agree with that as well. And that was one of the points that I was trying to illustrate with the DEI scenario and the things that being the current administration and the legacy news stations are pumping out there in our ears and eye gates. So with that being said, I'm here to offer you an alternative to the trash. Yes, I do have a sense of humor. Yes, I will make jokes. Yes, I will laugh and we will cut up on the NightCap. But at the end of the day, it is truth and practicality that I'm offering. And truth and practicality will sustain us through these difficult days that are inevitable. And I'm sorry, somebody's ringing the doorbell. If you hear that coming through. But I think that um, I, there has to be an alternative to the other stuff that's out there. We've got people doing makeup, which is cool. We've got people doing music reviews, movie reviews, but there's not a whole lot of people talking about life. And life is real, guys. And I don't have to tell. I don't have to tell you guys that you're living life. Life is real. Life, in the words of the old spiritual, life is full of swift transitions. You can be on top of the world today, and the world can be on top of you tomorrow. You understand? So uh, I'm here to offer an alternative to all the other stuff that's on social media. And there's nothing wrong with clean humor. I'm gonna provide that as well with your help, with your engagement. So let me um, let me just share with you um, what Essential Discourse is about according to our website. And the Essential Discourse podcast is your go to space for faith driven personal growth and authentic conversations about life, relationships, and spiritual development. Designed for individuals seeking practical, restorative advice, this podcast blends wisdom and faith to tackle real world challenges with grace and purpose. Each episode, each nightcap, dives into topics like emotional well being, building meaningful connections, and living a life aligned with your values. Whether you're seeking encouragement, clarity, or actionable steps to grow, the Essential Discourse podcast and all of its affiliates offer a supportive and relatable journey to help you thrive. Ain't that beautiful? I wrote that. Yeah, I wrote that. Yeah. Wasn't no AI associated with that. I wrote that. Yeah, I wrote pretty good, I think. I think I wrote pretty good. Yeah, I wrote that. But that's what we're about. That is what we're about. And our goal is to reach as many people as possible and to have and establish as many meaningful relationships as possible. That is the goal of what it is that we intend to do. Whether that's through audio, video, podcast, or video cast, whether that's through the blogs, or whether that's through our live sessions, the overall goal is to establish, maintain, and sustain meaningful, healthy relationships and to help each other. You help me, I help you be a better version of myself daily. That's the goal. That sounds pretty good to me. And I think that is something that we can accomplish if we are willing to be accountable, if we are willing to apply those things that we can recognize as truth to our day to day lives, and if we are willing to be somewhat vulnerable with each other, honest with each other. This is a safe space, a very safe space. Will not tolerate any belittling, belligerent behavior, language. Will not tolerate any of that um, because we want people to be free and to feel safe with expressing what it is that they are experiencing. Your experiences have value, not only to you, uh, but also to me. There are some things that you've experienced and that you have knowledge and understanding of and wisdom about that I haven't experienced. But that doesn't mean that that experience isn't on its way. And if I can gain that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from you, at least I will have some type of footing to stand on when that experience comes my way. And that's what this is about. That's what this is about. Um, so, questions and topics that we discuss, uh, these are things that these are things that These are things that we as a community deal with on a day to day basis. We deal with stress on a day to day basis. We deal with uh, family issues on a day to day basis. Um, for you married folk, I'm one of you. You married folk. Every day you don't particularly like your spouse. Every day you don't particularly like them. You don't particularly like looking at their face. Sometimes you don't particularly like how they do what they do. True statement. True statement. But we have to find a common place where we can accept, hey, this is one of the things that irritate me about them. However, I love this joker. So we're gonna either we're gonna either work to eliminate this, or we're gonna accept it as the price of doing the price of doing business, and the business is love. Some of us have kids that we've raised, and we've done everything humanly possible to prepare them for success. And these jokers, they get out here in this world, man, and act like they hadn't been trained, hadn't been loved, hadn't been nurtured, hadn't been taught anything. Some of these jokers. Now, can't speak for y'all, but I got a joker. I got a joker, man. It makes me wonder. Sometimes I wonder where is this the joker that we brought home from the hospital? Did somebody switch this joker up? You know, and these are everyday things that we have to deal with. And some of these things, I'm sorry, some of these things, we're just gonna have to resolve to let God do what God does. That's the truth. Thank you, Trey Williams, for chiming in there. Uh, some things in life we are going to just have to resolve to let God do what God does. As parents, our job is to steward these children. As parents, our job is to protect them as best we can. As parents, our job is to teach them what's right and what's wrong. As parents. Now, when they reach a certain age, we have to move out of stewardship into advising when advice will be heard. I had to learn that the hard way. Had to learn that the hard way with one of these particular jokers, and I had to learn that in various ways. I got 5 kids, right? I got five, and so I had to learn that in 5 different ways with 5 different personalities. So yeah, man, everyday situations. Hello, Brianna. Everyday situations that we deal with. This is the stuff that I want us to be free to talk about. Be free to talk about how we feel. Be free to talk about, I've tried this, I've tried that, and nothing seems to be working. I'm frustrated. Be honest. Let's be honest. Let's be honest with ourselves and with each other, and let's find some practical solutions. And if we can't find a practical solution, let's just agree to resolve to let God do what only God can do. And it's more than just resolving to say, you know what, I throw my hands up, God, you got it. Let's pray for one another as well. You may not be a religious person. That's fine. You still have a place here. You still have a place here. You may be in odds with God. That's fine. You still got a place here. You got a place here. Um, so I just want us to know that this is a safe space. The podcast is raw, is real. It doesn't hold any punches. I'm not going to hold any punches on any topic that we talk about here, but I will not be malicious, and I will not be one who speaks down to anyone. Your voice, your opinion, your input is valued, and I'm seeking your encouragement uh, through all of this, through all of these avenues of approach that I have engaged in. Um, oh, I forgot. I didn't even tell y'all anything about me. I told you about what the podcast was about, but let me tell you a little bit about me for those of you who are brand new. Of course, my name is Bruce Smith. I am the host and the creator of Essential Discourse Podcast, Essential Discourse Media, Essential Discourse Podcast, the NightCap. We've got a whole host of things that uh, we do. First and foremost, I am a man of God. I'm a father. I'm a friend. Obviously, I'm a content creator, and I pride myself on being an independent thinker. I'm a graduate of Northwestern State University, which is located in historic Natchitoches, Louisiana. I obtained my bachelor's degree in 1999 in the field of social work. I've spent the majority of my adult life in service of humanity through various organizations. These organizations include, but are not limited to, my role as a Texas peace officer. I was the popo, y'all. I was the popo for a minute. I'm a veteran of the United States Army. I was a DOD and a DOS contractor, a teacher. I have been an investigator, and so much more, so much more. I am a proud member of the greatest fraternity in the world, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. I am a man of devotion. My loyalty and accountability for God has fueled my desire, my drive to serve people. I am a faith practitioner and a disciple of Christ. And I hope through our interactions, these traits uh, will be seen. And my interactions, uh, these traits are seen when I interact with my family and my community for those of people who are here locally. And hopefully, if we should have a conversation with each other, you would see the same or get the same impression about me. I'm the first to let you know that I'm not always right, and I don't always have the right answers. However, uh, I think that my goal is perfection, and I'm working towards achieving that goal. And we all know that we won't be perfected until the day of Jesus Christ, but we have a responsibility and a obligation to work towards that goal. So that's about me. Hopefully that didn't bore you too much, but that's just who I be. Just wanted to give y'all a brief little snippet of that. And what are your thoughts so far, guys? Does this sound like this is something that you're interested in being a member of? Is this a community that you can vibe with? That's the question. Is this a community that you can vibe with? Uh, if you would, get in those comment sections and let me know. And while you're doing that, just want to take some time to show you some other aspects of the website. As I stated earlier, we do have a blog, and I call it The Good Life. I call it The Good Life blog, and the Essential Discourse presents the Good Life focused blog. It's focused on a good life. And we have 3 articles up right now. And those articles are called What is Self-Care and How Can It Improve Mental Health? Um, Developing a Positive Mindset, the key to positive thinking and attitude. And of course, Elevate Your Life, best ways to become a better man. And this was probably one of the first blogs. This was the first blog that I wrote. So not only do we have a blog, we have the podcast, and you can get to the podcast episodes by clicking on the episode tab, and you can see, here's what we're talking about. We're talking about being intentional. We're talking about stop overthinking, break free. How many of us overthink? How many of us have a problem with overthinking? You know, how many of us have a problem with being intentional about what we say it is that we want to do? You know, um, I've said that I want to do a lot of things, but I didn't put any work behind it. So those things that I said I wanted to do, They didn't manifest themselves. I'm talking about me. I'm talking about me. I ain't talking about y'all. I'm talking about me. And another episode, unspoken grief associated with the grieving process. This is talking about, that grief that you get when a loved one, a friend, unexpectedly transitions, and perhaps they didn't have their affairs in order, and you may be the one who is responsible or has to be accountable for ensuring that those final arrangements and whatever they left behind undone get done. Self care is essential. It's another title of an episode that I've done. And unmasking manhood, insights and responsibility and maturity from a 16-year-old's perspective. This was a very good interview with a young man. Uh, from an aspect, I'm 49. This is a 16-year-old, and just to see the thought process behind what a man is in regards to him uh, was pretty outstanding to me. And this is the last one that I'll show you. What is a man? And for all my male listeners, all the male listeners who will join this, I proposed a question. This was July 20th, 2023, when I did this episode. I asked a question to various men, and I asked them, if you were to remove the roles, the traditional roles that men have been given and have accepted and have done, and those roles are being a provider, being a protector, and being a producer. You remove all that, what is a man? And it amazed me how many men didn't have a response to that question. It amazed me. Blew it blew me away how many men did not have an answer to that question. I turned around and asked the same question to various females, and you know what? Every last one of them had an answer. Now, it wasn't the right answer, but they had an answer, and they had an answer based off of their expectations. I thought that was interesting, and we it is essential that we have these type of conversations, because you do know every legal man really isn't a man. You do know that, right? Every legal woman isn't really a woman. You know, these are some hard topics. These are some in your face discussions that we have. And it's all from a standpoint of helping us to be better versions of ourselves. And, disproving a lot of the lies that we've grown up listening to and that we have subscribed to. Um, so yeah, that is essential discourse in a nutshell. Um, and as you can see, we got some reviews. Got some. I ain't tooting my own horn, but we got some 5-star reviews. Quite a few of them. For the people who have taken the time to listen, we've gotten some 5-star reviews. And I'm really proud of this. I'm really thrilled about this. So come on in, come on in, come on in. Join the community. Join our community. It's easy to do. It's so easy. It's so easy to do, and I'm looking forward to having you. I see Miss Perkins is still here. Is Miss Judy still here? Just a quick question. Just a quick question, because I asked that question. Do you guys believe that this is a community that you can vibe with? And I would really, really love to see your responses on screen. And even if you don't respond on screen, I would really love for you to just join the community and see for yourself what it's all about. See for yourself what it's all about. Well, I was going to keep you guys on for, let's try to stay on here for at least a full hour. We've got 38 minutes on. I like to open up the floor to give you, viewers, listeners, those of you who are engaging through text message or whatnot. I would like to give you a chance to respond. Miss Smith responded, yes, yes, this is a community that you would like to vibe with. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Yep. Just giving everyone an opportunity to get those fingers to working. Get those fingers to working. That's what I'd like to do. All right. All right. Thank you, Ms. Williams. Thank you, girl. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. And what topics, based off of the information, based off the information that has been shared tonight, what topics, if you could make a suggestion, what topics would you like for us to deal with? Like I said, I'm 49, so my early childhood parenting days are over, over. But maybe some of you, maybe you're on your first child. Maybe you know somebody who's with their first child, and you know they're having some they have some questions. And the best way to get those questions answered is to put them in a community where it's safe to ask those questions, where you can get a ton of information. Or maybe it's financial health, financial readiness. Miss Smith, she says family, adult children, marriage, work life balance. And I agree, that is something that, that is an everyday thing. And we can talk about that from now until the Lord cracks the sky. I really do. I believe we could talk about that until the Lord cracks the sky. And we can all get different perspectives on that. And and perhaps one of those perspectives will encourage and enlighten us and help us to be who we say we are. Men's perspective on dating their wife or wives. Men's perspectives on dating their wives. What's a date to you, Miss Smith? Describe a date. Describe a date. What do you consider to be a date, ma'am? Yeah. What her consider a date? I know she typing. She typing good too. Oh, she typing good. She's typing like a secretary in an office building. Oh, and vice versa as well. Wives dating their husbands. Okay. She said out the house. She don't want to be in no house. Okay, I hear you. Eyes hears yous, ma'am. I think a lot of times, I think we get so caught up in the routines of day in, day out, right? I was literally talking to my grandmother of 98, 97 years old. And she asked me, what you been doing? And I literally told her, work, church, work, church. That's all I do. And that's that's my routine. And uh, Miss Smith was talking about that work and that balance, the balance thing that you have to do. It's a difficult balancing act. Um, I don't know if there are any other content people on here, but if there are, they would readily tell you that to do this right now, what from what you've seen and to get this schedule, if you're not an expert and if you're doing it by yourself, man, it takes some time. It takes some time to get this stuff set up. And I'm the type of guy, when I start something, I tend to stay on it until a I get frustrated and I quit for a little period of time, or you know I get it done. And I'm guilty. I'm guilty, and I know that I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of I'll just block out everything else when I'm focused on what I'm focused on. And I know, because she's told me several times. She's told me, "Hey, man, I need some time as well." And and yeah, it's a whole nother job. This content creating stuff. Thank you, Deshaun. Dejon, I'm sorry, Dejon Wright. Hey, little brother, how you doing, man? Uh, this is a whole job, especially when you are. If this live video is being recorded, right? If I wanted to take this and make it into, some B-roll footage to highlight this podcast, my platform, man, you can spend hours and hours of editing and trying to get it just right and put it on the social media platforms, and you're looking for a return on your investment. And sometimes it doesn't happen. And if you're focused like I am, you can easily just disregard everything else around you. And that is dangerous, especially when you're in a relationship. When you are in a relationship with someone that you love, you might not like them all the time. You love them. You love them. You owe them. You owe them time with you, and that's the balancing act. That's the balancing act for me, and I'm working on it. I ain't perfected it, but I'm working on it. And that's a hard, yeah, that's a hard thing uh, to balance. So that is a great question, Miss Smith. Uh, so dating. I remember when I was dating, man. I would dating to me, and she never did respond. You see that, don't you, DeJohn? She never did respond. Dating to me, when I was dating, man, it was like, let's get dressed, let's go somewhere, let's be on the phone. Because much of dating is trying to get to know the person that you're interested in. Am I right? Now, when you've been married 24, going on 25 years, I think I should know you. And so, again, you get into that routine of, this is what I do. I know who I'm with and all this other stuff. And it's like you have to discover the nuances about the person that you're with. So I get that. I get that. And that takes effort. That takes effort to be, you know, to have the perspective of, okay, I know this woman. I've been with this woman 24 years, but what are the nuances? And how can once I discover these nuances, how can I use that to date her, to to win or to rekindle those feelings of, okay, I'm getting to know this guy and I'm really feeling him again. I think that's I think that's what you're talking about as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, Miss Smith. So yeah, yeah, yeah. So She ain't said nothing. She ain't said nothing that I asked her about. But yeah, guys, hey, I just want to let you know that I am on Facebook, in my personal page. You can find me on under Junior Bruce, Junior spelled out Bruce. You can find the business page, which is really where I want you guys to join the community. On the business page, it is Essential Discourse Podcast with Bruce Smith on the Facebook page, and I'm on TikTok again, Essential Discourse, and I have a YouTube channel, and it's called Essential Discourse Media. So, oh, how can I forget? www.edpshow.com is the website for this lovely, lovely, lovely community that we are building together. www.edpshow.com. There it is, right there. Essential Discourse Podcast. www.edpshow.com. Um, check it out. Check all that stuff out. There's daily encouragements on all of the platforms except for YouTube. YouTube, well, y'all know what YouTube is. But there's daily encouragement on all of those platforms I named. Let's see what Miss Williams says. Miss Williams says mental wellness, building generational wealth, dealing with increasing rate of cancer and other terminal illnesses within our community. Girl, look like I'm gonna have to have you as a guest. Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna have to have you as a guest. And Miss Smith finally she finally responded, y'all. She said correct. Yes. And speaking of cancer, if you are a male of a certain age, I believe it's 45 now. Let's just call it 45. 45 and above. You got to get those screenings, gentlemen. You got to get those screenings. The earlier you find it, the better your chances. I know we as a people, as males, we don't like going to the doctor. We don't like it, but you got to. You got to. You got to go to the doctor. You got to go. You got to get checked out. The earlier you know about a situation, the better the outcome could possibly be. So we owe it to ourselves. We owe it to the ones that we say we love to take care of ourselves. That's another aspect of self care. That is another aspect of mental, spiritual, holistic wellness. That is another aspect of it. So, yes, yes, these are things that we would love to discuss. Thank you guys for the topics um, that you have uh, suggested. Did I see Miss Drusilla? Did she say something? Oh, she said hello. Hey, Miss Drusilla. Um, checking how much time we've been on. We've been on for 51 minutes. Again, I did send a shout out, an invitation to Golden Memories or Golden Moments, which is another live stream or another recorded group that I am connected with on FaceTime. Uh, let's keep that those content creators. Let's keep them in our thoughts and in our prayers. And also, let's keep those who are experiencing life in a brand new way in our thoughts and prayers. There's some sickness around us, and there is transitions. Like we said, life is full of swift transitions. There's so much going on in the lives of the people around us that we don't even know about. We don't even know about, uh, and that's why it's important for us um, to have safe spaces where we can come and be vulnerable and know that there are people who are not only for us but with us. Yeah, it does make a difference to have people for you, not just with you. Because if y'all remember, Job had some people that was with him when he was going through what he was going through, but were they really for him? That's that's a whole nother That's a whole nother discussion. But it is important. It is important. It is essential, shall I say. It is essential. Miss Williams, if you would, ma'am, would you go onto that website and register as a guest? Can you do that for me? Because I know you got a lot of stuff that we can discuss, and let's plan to get on this thing and tackle some of these topics. Tackle some of these topics. And if you know of a person who works in one of these professional fields, such as finance, financial management, hey, let me know. Probe them, ask them, would they be willing to talk about it? 9 times out of 10, they will. Uh, Ask them, refer them to me. Refer them to me, and let's really talk about this stuff. We could have our own Hillman talk right here. We could help each other do some things that that people are gatekeeping on. No, we got the keys to the gate. We just have to access those who hold the keys. And I think that we have enough people in our community, enough allies, enough people in our community who are willing to share this information with us. You ain't got to go and pay $3,000 or $1,400 to sit in some kind of seminar. There are people in our communities who are around us day by day who would not mind sharing that information with us. So if you know of someone who's a subject matter expert in the things that you want to discuss or the topics that you're interested in, please, please, please refer them to me. I'm willing to talk to anyone who can educate, who can uplift, who can encourage. I am willing to talk to anyone. Dejan, hey, I'm willing to sit down with you, brother, and explain social media and how to get your streams up and all that stuff because there's a lot of people out here, man, who are struggling to find their audience and they get discouraged, man. You put all this work in for 14 views and no and one like and no comments. That's discouraging. So Dejan, man, you've got a lot of knowledge. You can get in here and explain some things to some people, man, and use this platform to show people what you do. Man, this dude is talented, y'all. He is talented. He is talented. He's doing some big things in the world of music and in the world of sports. He's doing some big things. Dr. Williams, she has agreed to register as a guest. She's got a lot of information, and I know she's not a gatekeeper. So yeah, I'm excited. I am so excited about what we can be together. I'm so excited about that, and I kind of feel like I'm rambling a little bit. I hope not. I hope it's not coming off that way. But it's a different type of thing when you're just sitting in a room and you're talking to a camera. It kind of feels a little strange. But I'm up for the challenge. I'm up for the challenge. And if you have some suggestions on how we can make this thing better, please let me know. Please let me know. And the final thing before we get off of here, I want to say, hey man, it's about that time for our high school seniors to graduate. If they haven't started with the scholarship process, you need to do it. You need to do it. I know of 9 scholarships, organizations who have scholarships that all you got to do is apply and write pretty well. That's it. And those are the D9. The D9, D9, D9 has scholarship money in your specific area of your state, country, wherever you're watching from. D9 has scholarships, but there's a timeline. So you got to do what you got to do to be able to um, take advantage of these things. And with that, I want to thank each and every last one of you for joining tonight. I hope that um, you are as excited as I am about this. We're looking at doing this every Saturday night. Every Saturday night, 7:30 to 8:30. This is what we're looking for, and hopefully, um, we can get golden moments, and we can get other people such as Ms. Williams, who's agreed to register as a guest, and Dejan. Hopefully, he'll register as a guest, and We just have a variety of practical day to day things that we can discuss and be able to help each other become better. With that being said, we got about 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Any alibis for the group, for you prior military people or you current military people? Any alibis for the good of the group? Maybe not. But yeah, let me again say I thank you guys for your engagement. I thank you guys for uh, jumping on. I really appreciate it. This has been an excellent, 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 excellent time. Excellent time. This has been a wonderful experience, and I'm so glad to have have this experience with you. And before we go, let's close out uh, in a word of prayer. Father God, we thank you for allowing us to come together and to discuss the things that we have discussed. We thank you for building this community to serve as an instrument for you helping us to become what you have designed us to be, better human beings, stewards for each other, and loving and caring individuals. We thank you. We bless you for please sleep and rest. And we give you all praise, honor, and glory. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Hey, guys, I love you. Please spread the word about this live stream and the website and the blog and all that stuff. Spread the word. Spread the word. Tell somebody. Tell two, three people about it. Tell as many people you want. Just tell somebody. And we'll see you guys next Saturday at 7:30 to 8:30. Thank you guys for being on. I appreciate each and every last one of you. Good night.